Okay, guys, we're heading to Walnut, Iowa, and I don't know about the whole entire state, but this region of Iowa has been in a severe drought, you guys. It hasn't rained here in over a month, and that's why everything looks so brown and dead. They really desperately need rain out here. Otherwise, it could end up having prairie fires, but it's extremely dry, a lot of dust and dirt blowing in the wind, and they are scheduled to get some rain after we leave and go back to New York.
Walnut, Iowa is the antique capital of the entire state, and this was down in the basement beneath one of the shops. Bridget and I both like to look at vintage stuff and antiques, and we ended up buying quite a few items that we brought back to New York with us from several different stores. And we just like to see what's out there, what's available, what kind of prices, and what kind of deals we can find. This was a very neat shop. All of them are very neat and unique. Run across items that you don't see in other states. That's why I like to look at this stuff. It's a lot of fun. You never know what you'll find. These stores were very nice. Everybody was very friendly. And it was a lot of fun to just get away, check out the new sites, and just go to some of these shops and see what they're like. We saw a lot of neat items at these stores. And from this particular store, I bought 2 items. At this store. Oh, those are they Corelle?
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're made in England. England Hudson. They're just beautiful.
Here's a canister set, honey. It's clear. Look at the Ronald McDonald. Remember him?
Yes, I remember. And Raggedy Ann.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. What do you think of that set?
That's a pretty set. Nice thing about clear glass, it goes with any decor.
Well, it's beautiful. It's not chipped or nothing.
Look at this old photo album.
Oh my
Wow, that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, look at the cherub.
Good price on it, too. $22? That ain't bad at all.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Pretty pictures in there.
Mm-hmm. I ended up buying this picture and bringing it back to New York with me. I really liked it because out in Iowa, there's a lot of those windmills, I guess, that are used for water wells. And it pumps the water up using the wind. And I just really like the look of those nostalgic farm windmills. So I bought this picture and brought it back to New York.
Huge little bench for kids.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is a pretty set. Yeah.
I love the blue.
That's really nice. What were they asking for it?
100.
Wow. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I never seen one of those. That's beautiful.
That's big. I like how they have those hanging like that.
Yeah, those are easy to make too.
Yeah.
That's a pretty set. It's a Christmas set, but it's pretty.
Oh, yeah. That's a candle. Wow.
Those are nice.
It's a good price. Look at this little, I don't know if it's a kid rocking chair, but it's made out of metal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's got a teddy bear on the back that's.
Yeah, that one's old.
Yeah.
Very old.
These are like the ones, like my little nuns.
That's a nice set there.
So pretty.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty.
That's different,
Mm-hmm.
that frame.
I know.
I wonder what it's made out of.
I don't know. It almost feels like
Glass?
a clay.
Yeah.
I think it's made out of clay. What's
There's
the
wood
back look like?
behind. It's wood.
Oh, that thing's old.
Yeah, it is. It's our American Eagle.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Now this is the wash stand I was telling you about with these mirrors like this. This is where they had the wash bowl and the wash pitcher. That's what that is. That's an old wash stand. Yeah. Only they had a big one on there.
Right. Oh, this is a different pan. What kind of pan is this? What kind of pan is this that the lid goes up like that?
It's just a cooker. It's silver.
Oh,
See, they did that in those days so they didn't lose the lid. They just flipped up.
that's cool. It's got a wooden handle.
Here's an old accordion. My mother used to play the accordion, and how she would, push all the different buttons on one side, play the keys on the other. I never could figure out how that thing worked. It's different.
There's a dress stand making dresses.
Unfortunately, in this clip, you guys, I had to mute the volume because in this store that we went into, they had piped-in music playing throughout their establishment, and YouTube does not allow any music in a video or they'll hit you with a copyright strike. So I had to mute the volume. But here I will just talk over the video and explain what this place was like. It was 2 stories of antiques, and down here in the basement is where they had some of the nicest pieces. This here is solid, very well made furniture from the 18th century. Very ornate, all hand carved, extremely heavy, and the prices were quite high because pieces like this are getting harder and harder to find, you guys. A lot of these beautiful pieces that you're looking at right here in the video were several $1,000s. And it would take several people to carry something like this and load it into a truck or a trailer. Beautiful furniture. And this store here also offers full restoration services. If you have a piece at home and would like to have it redone, they also offer to do that for you. Boy, we saw some beautiful pieces here. Some very old desks, armoires, hall trees, curio cabinets, you name it, it was there. And this is some of the finest furniture, you guys, you could ever find or own. Because as you all know, you can't find stuff like this in today's stores. This stuff was built to last several lifetimes and to be handed down from generation to generation. Just the craftsmanship and the quality of these things were just unbelievable. This is the kind of furniture that I love. If I had a house large enough to have pieces like this in it, this is where I would shop for furniture. You just don't find this kind of quality anymore. Bridget and I had a great time looking around because places like this, you never know what you'll find. You got to look high, you got to look low, and you can't be afraid to dig. You also have to be very careful in places like this because if you break it, you own it. So we're always very careful whenever we go into these antique shops that have high prices. But sometimes you can find some really good deals. We hit places like this as well as going to places like Goodwill, Salvation Army, any type of place where it has secondhand stuff for sale. We just love to look. And at this time of year, if we could have found any garage sales or yard sales, we would have hit those as well. Bridget and I had a good time going to places like this, but being we were there to visit and spend time with family, we didn't have a lot of time to go to places like this. So we hit a few places, and then the rest of our time in Iowa was spent with family before we went home.
All these windmills out here spinning, you guys. There is zero wind. No wind at all. And these things are spinning, every single one of them. And there's absolutely no wind. These things are generated and spinning by electricity. These have electric motors in them, and they're using electricity to make them spin. These things do not spin by the wind. Because these trees out here, you guys, aren't moving at all. They are dead still. All the leaves on these trees and branches are dead still. There is no wind at all. So if you don't have enough wind to blow a branch on a tree, there is no way there is enough wind to make these giant windmills spin. While we're out here in Iowa, you guys, I talked to the locals out here about these windmills. And they said that the companies that own these giant windmills out here send the electric, send the so-called electric from these things that generate electric up north, and the Iowans don't get to use any of it. They don't get to utilize the electric. The reason why that's happening is because people up north aren't getting the power from them either. It's all a lie. You see, if they said that these things are producing electricity and they were supplying it to the local Iowans here in the state of Iowa, then they would see that they're not working and they're not producing electric, and then the jig would be up and the cat would be out of the bag and they would be caught in their lie. So by setting them up in Iowa and saying that the electric that these things are producing is going somewhere else tells you that's how they get away with their lie. If you went and talked to the people at the place where they claim that the electric is going, they'd say, no, we're not getting any electric from any windmills. They say that because they know no one's going to check. No one's going to investigate. No one's going to go far north and far west to see if they're getting power from these things. These things don't generate electricity. They're using electricity. These things are spinning because there is power going to them, making them spin. Because number one, when there is no wind blowing, these things wouldn't be turning. Number two, when there is high winds, you would see a difference in speed on these things. And every time we've been out here and seen these things spinning, they're always spinning at the same revolution. You can count it. It's the same speed all the time. A real windmill, when wind picks up and blows harder and faster, makes a real windmill spin faster. These always spin at the same speed. Why? Because it's an electric motor that's making these things spin, because they're using electricity they're not producing electricity. And stupid people are buying what's being sold to them, and they believe it without questioning a damn thing. How sad is that in America, that we have become that freaking dumb? Well, good morning, guys. We are driving back to New York. We're currently in Iowa on the highway, and we'll probably be home sometime this evening because we got a long ways to go. So, see you in a bit. Every single windmill out here is spinning at the same exact revolution. Same. None of them are spinning faster than others or slower than others. They're all spinning at the same exact revolution, going around. No matter if the wind's blowing or not, and right now it is dead still, dead calm, and these things are spinning because electricity and an electric motor is what's making these things spin. There's your difference. And why people are not investigating this nonsense and this growing lie across America is beyond me. Because it's all bullshit. Total bullshit. Well, you guys, we are on the west side of Cleveland. We got about 61 more miles to go before we get to Cleveland. And we are heading back home. We gotta get a bite to eat in Erie, and then we got another 45-minute drive after Erie. So about 3 more hours to go before we're home. And had a good time out in Iowa, both Bridget and I, and had great weather, and looking forward to when we can go again.